Okay, so for this project you're going to need pins, tape measure, scissors, elastic, white stretch and mesh fabric. Okay, so I think I've got 2 meters of each fabric, and I'm starting off with the white stretch. So I've just folded it out, and I'm starting with the back side of the dress. Now you'll see that I've left a little gap between where the dress starts and where the fabric underneath starts as well, and that's because I'm trying to create a seam allowance of about 0.5 inches. Before you cut around this material as well, you're going to make sure that you've got 0.5 seam allowance on the opposite side as well, so that you can sew on the outside and it'll be roomy. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just lining it with the pins. You're going to need about 1 inch seam allowance for the top part, because I'm going to be putting elastic at the top, so I've just got some extra just in case for that part. So once you've cut around the perimeter leaving seam allowance, you're now going to go back to the folded side and you're going to cut down the middle. Okay, so now you're going to get your mesh fabric, you're going to fold that over as well. You're then going to place the white stretch fabric on top of the mesh fabric, and you're going to cut around the perimeter. You do not need to leave seam allowance because you've already accounted for that when you did the white stretch. Okay, so once you've cut around the perimeter of the white stretch fabric, you are now going to just move that out of the way, and you're going to cut down the folded side like you did with the white stretch fabric. So now moving on to the front part of the dress. So the front part of the dress, you do not need seam allowance at the starting point, you only need it around the edges. So I'm just going to place the material down, and I'm going to go ahead and cut around the perimeter, leaving 0.5 amount seam allowance on the other side. Okay, so you should now have 4 pieces for the back, and I'm going to just stack these on top of each other. So I've started with the white stretch fabric, then I've got the mesh fabric, which is right side up, then the second mesh fabric is right side facing downwards, and then the white stretch fabric on top. So you should just have like a sandwich of all the fabrics together, white sides on the out and then the mesh fabric on the inside. And I'm just going to pin this in place, and then I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and I'm just going to sew all the way down. I am going to leave some space so I can have a little bit of a split at the back. So you'll see here I've twisted the fabric around because I've created a stop point so that I can create a split at the back, just so that it's easier to walk. So you'll see there's the opening now, and I'm just going to hem down the side just so that looks neat. Okay, so the back side is done, and I've just placed it down, and I'm now going to put the mesh fabric for the front part of the dress on top of the back piece, making sure the front mesh is right side down. Then I'm going to place the white stretch fabric on top of the mesh for the front, then I'm going to pin in place and sew down both sides. Okay, so now I'm going to add the elastic to the top part. Now I've measured out the width of the top part of the dress, and what I've done is just then times that by 2 to make the full circumference of the top part, and then I'm going to take away about 6 to 8 inches just so that it will obviously stretch when I sew it. I'm going to just pin the 2 ends together, sew it, and then I'm going to attach it to the top part of the dress. So as I'm sewing, I'm stretching the elastic so that it will cover the full width of the dress at the top. Okay, so we're on to the cardigan now. So I've just found a shirt that I like the fit of, and I'm using that to trace around for the cardigan. I'm going to be cutting my material slightly shorter because I want it to be like a cropped cardigan. So this is the front part. Now I'm just tracing out the arms, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing again for the other arm and for the front part of the cardigan as well. So I didn't show this, but you'll do it twice. Now with the front of this cardigan, I really just kind of winged it. So I just created like a rounded opening part and then attached that to the back part of the cardigan. I wasn't too fussed really because I didn't really want it to be noticeable. The main thing I wanted the cardigan for is for the arms. Okay, now I'm just going to quickly pin the arms together and then sew them. So everything's been sewn now, and now I've turned the sleeve right side out and I've attached it to the hole of the cardigan, which is inside out, and I'm just pinning it in place on the other side as well, ready to be sewn. I did go ahead and hem around the edges as well, and that's pretty much it. If you want to see how I dress this up, how I wear this with hair, makeup, accessories, then follow me on Instagram at the Lamina Collection, and or TikTok also at the Lamina Collection as well. See ya!